All right, guys, so this is experiment number 2. As you guys can see, yes, I have a lot of time on my hands today. But anyway, we have this drone with this little guy right here, just chilling on top of the drone. We have the tail 2 on the newer motorized dolly, which I am going to turn on here in a second. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that the tail 2 is tracking this little guy right here. And we're going to try an orbit shot where it goes all the way around. So first things first, I'm going to go over to the iPad here and I'm going to select this guy right there. So you guys can see it is selected. I just use the iPad to do that. I'm going to go ahead and turn on our dolly, and we're probably going to set that at a speed of maybe 2. Should be more than enough just to see exactly what we're going to get. And I am going to go ahead and record this internally so we can see what this looks like. So we got this guy, lighting is horrible, but you guys get the idea. So I'm going to go ahead and hit our record button right here, start recording. I'm going to then send this guy forward and just let it kind of orbit around, as you guys can see here. So we're getting a slow orbit like you would normally use if you were doing a product video or something like that. So that's our goal right now, is to see how well this will track a little guy here. Keep it in the center. I think it's going to do great. I don't see any reasons why it should not give us a really good video. Stable, smooth, all of that. So again, guys, if you're doing product videos, there's so many products out there that can really take your videos to the next level. Anything that you guys can imagine, for the most part, you'll be able to configure in one form or another. As you see, this is just an experiment, but you guys see how well it works. Now I am going to test this again at a higher speed just to see what the end result is. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and let this guy end. I'm just going to stick my hand in here real quick and stop this. And then we're going to increase the speed. And let's see here. Yeah, we should have a much faster rotation on this guy now. So it's going to start to orbit back around. And you guys should start seeing it in this video pretty quick here. All right, so we have that set on a speed of 4. And we're going to run it again at the maximum speed of 5 just to make sure that it's able to keep our little guy tracking the whole time. So when it gets about 2, maybe about right there, I'm just going to go ahead and stop it. And I'm going to increase the speed to 5. And now we're going to let it go back around again. So even at the increased speed, we're still getting really good tracking on this. And like I said, I'll show you guys what the video looks like from this device. All right, now this does not stop on its own, so I do have to stop it or it will just go right off the table. So we definitely don't want that. So I'm just going to let it go back in the opposite direction. I'll pull out here a little bit so you guys can see how the desk is set up. So it would literally just go right off the desk, but you guys get the idea. I think, you know, setting up something like this in your home office, studio, whatever the case it is, for product shots, guys, you could do the same thing with a push-in where you just change the angle of the camera. I'll show you guys what I mean by that really quickly here. So let's just go ahead and line this guy up again, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the motion. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the direction of the dolly. So we could just turn our drone in this direction, like so. It is still tracking it. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to change also the direction of the dolly so that it'll be going in a straight line. And as I rotate this around, the camera should also line up accordingly. I'm just going to adjust it just a little bit. There we go. So you guys should be able to see that also in the iPad. Now it's lined up properly. And all we're going to be doing is a little push-in shot here where it's just going to zoom in tighter on this guy right here. So this is not going to take a lot of speed because it's just going in a straight line. But just to give you an idea how easily you could do a push-in shot the same way by just setting everything up really simply. Of course, you want to have good lighting, but you guys get the idea. All right, let me stop that. And you could do the reverse, obviously. You know, we could do a pull out. Now I'm seeing a little jerkiness, but it's not from the camera, it's actually from the dolly. And that just may have something to do with the table being a little dirty or something like that. But that does happen on occasion. Now, of course, the cool thing about using a camera like this is that you could also use the remote in conjunction while you're doing your push-in. And if you had your remote turned on, you could actually zoom in on whatever it is that you're looking at, you know, really tight, just like what I just did there. And that's just using this little remote here. And you could do that while you are, you know, pushing in or pulling out or whatever it is. And you kind of get that, you know, that effect where the background looks like it's falling away from the foreground. So you have a lot of flexibility, guys, when it comes to using one of these devices. All right, guys, I was doing this experiment here on my desk and I decided to record it so I could show it to you guys. So here we go. Yes, Sunday, and I have a lot of time on my hands before my live stream if I decide to go live tonight. So I just thought I'd record this and show it to you guys. All right, guys, I've been Rome with Rome Knows Tech, and I will catch you all in the next video. Until then, stay safe. Peace. I am out.